Hello, hope you're all doing good, and just thought I'd show off this oscilloscope here. I just finished fixing this thing up. It did take quite a while to get it going, and also this is the first time I've ever worked on this sort of oscilloscope. Yeah, I definitely learned a lot, and I do have a few more of these scopes, so I will do a video in the future, going through and trying to fix them up. But this one I just did off camera. I also got some help from the group at groups.io, the Tekscopes group. Both the Tekscopes and the Tekscopes 2 group had some help from those guys because they know what they're talking about with these scopes. But anyway, so some of you may recognize this sort of style of oscilloscope, and it's quite an iconic oscilloscope from Tektronix. To be honest, probably some of the best they ever made, really. And this, as I said, is a 543A. So this is one of the 500 series scopes. And I do have some more. I have a couple of 545Bs, and I have a 535A as well. So again, I'll make videos on those in the future. But what I'll do now is I'll just turn this thing on, show you it working, and then, because I'm sure most of you want to see that, and then I'll talk about what I did to get it working. Okay, and there are also probes that would have come with or been purchased alongside a scope like this. These are from the same era by Tektronix as well. These probes here. Now these are really nice quality. I love these probes. I've got a few sets of these. This particular one, I believe, is a P6028, which is a 1X probe, and you can get a 10X probe, which is the P6006, I believe. But yeah, I've got this one here, P6028, which has a sorry, everything's a bit of a mess here. It has a BNC connector, and then I have another one which is a P6027, which has a UHF connector. And you can usually tell the age of a scope like this from the connectors. This is UHF connector. It has some on the plug-in unit here, and in later scopes they changed it for BNC. But yeah, these are really nice probes, so yeah, glad to have these. And then obviously you can get adapters, UHF to BNC, but yes, these 500 series scopes also have these plug-in units. So all you do is you unscrew it here, and then it pulls out. And this is a plug-in unit. This is the 5354C. This originally came with this scope, and it also has a calibration sticker from 1985. So this scope was in use for a long time. But this is a pretty basic plug-in, dual trace plug-in. And yeah, it's constructed very well, pretty much the same as the scope, which I'll show you later. But yeah, you can get different plugins that do different things. It just connects inside there, and you need to have one of these plugins for the scope to work. If you don't, then I think it burns out a resistor if you try and turn it on without plugging a plug-in unit in. So it is important to do that. All right, so I'm going to turn this on and show you it in action. Also, another thing to note, these pilot lights, this is a red one. In the later scopes, I think they changed them to green. So the older ones are red and the later ones are green. Turn the light off. We've got a scale illumination here. Okay, and there we go. So it just, a relay clicked inside after 25 seconds, which lets the valves warm up. And now we have high voltage, so we should get a trace. We've got plenty of brightness in the CRT. It goes nice and bright. And same with the focus and the other controls. So the trace looks really nice, at least in person. And it is only flickering on camera as well, so it's a nice solid trace. But anyway, got the amplitude calibrator hooked up to the plugin, the vertical input, and the calibrator on this is pretty nice because, you know, typical oscilloscopes will have just a regular, fixed calibrator output to hook your probe to. Usually, a frequency like 1 kilohertz and a fixed voltage and a square wave. But this, you can actually change the voltage. You can have it off and all the way to 100 volts, which is pretty nice. So I've got it set to, what is it? Well, I will set it to 2 volts, and I've got the plugin set to 0.5. And if I adjust the vertical, there we go. We've got 4 divisions there, which is nice. So that's all working well. But yeah, vertical is working fine. Horizontal, all working good. The time switch did have an issue. Some of the times weren't getting any sweep. There was no sweep. So 0.1, 1, 10 milliseconds all had no sweep, and essentially it was a open circuit resistor, and it was a 1 meg resistor, this one here. Now this is a precision resistor, 1% resistor. I only have 5% resistors, so I did put a 1 meg 5% resistor in, but it'll have to do, but it seems fine. So yeah, that's all working. Magnification's all working fine. And also the external horizontal input is working. Stability is working. Yeah, all the triggering modes. The only thing that isn't really working, at least not that well, is the channel B on this plugin. I think it's this red knob here, which is the variable to calibrate it. I think it might just need a bit of cleaning, but I think it could just be broken because I'm pretty sure it's not supposed to turn indefinitely. It's supposed to stop, and it isn't. So I think it actually is physically broken, the actual mechanism itself. So that might not be fixable, as long as one of the channels works, which it does. Now I'm going to open this up and show you the inside with all the valves lit. This is a full valve oscilloscope. You can get hybrid ones like the 545B, and I think the 543A, oh sorry, the 543B, I think is a hybrid with transistors. But this one is fully valve, and it does need to clean. We've got this little hatch here, which you only see on the older scopes, and I believe this was for like a manual, a small pocket-sized manual. But this is a look from the side of the scope here. Also the back of the scope. So the back of the scope, you've got a big fan. You might be able to hear it. And you need a fan in this thing because this thing gets really hot with all the valves. So you need a fan for it to cool itself down. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the side panels off and I'll show you the inside. Okay, so this is the inside of the scope. Now I have cleaned it on the inside, although some of the dirt on this scope was really bad. And in fact, I've seen worse than this. This wasn't too bad, but the dirt and the grime just gets stuck to the chassis, the metal chassis, and it just becomes really hard to get off. But anyway, as you can see, there's no PCBs. These scopes use ceramic strips. So these are all ceramic strips. Now, these ceramic strips can cause problems, and you can sort of see it where it's darkened around the solder points, and you can see it's really bad there. And what can happen is it can sort of get so bad that it conducts a little bit, and you'll get leakage and you get all sorts of problems. And I had that problem with this scope. The trace was jittery and going all over the place, and it turned out some of the low voltage ceramic strips underneath the scope were pretty bad, so after cleaning them, that was all fixed. I also had some arcing sounds coming from the high voltage transformer. So essentially I just cleaned it up, I resoldered all the points, removed the old Corona dope, and I applied some new Corona dope. I used this MG Chemicals clear Corona dope. And eventually the arcing just stopped on its own. I think it might have been some sort of dirt or something that got vaporized. But yeah, that's not a problem anymore. Another thing I did, which you should do on these, is adjust, well, calibrate the voltages. So adjust to negative 150 volts. So all the voltages are fine and within spec. I did have a couple of valves that had gone to air. The first one was this one, the V609, the 5651. That's like a regulation valve for the negative 150 volts. So I replaced that, and also another valve went to air. It was an ECC 83, I believe, up here that had gone to air. And then the calibrator output wasn't working, and that was due to 12AU7 at the back there, which I swapped out. And looking on this side here, we can see the fan in action. I also lubricated the fan because it's quite important to do. And you might be able to see just about, there's that cream colored resistor. That is the one I replaced. So that's a 1 meg resistor. It's very hard to solder that point because the CRT is in the way. It's really difficult, but I did manage. All the electrolytics in these cans are original, and they seem to be fine. So that's quite nice. And then what I'll do is I'll turn off the light. You can take a look. Okay, so this is with the lights off. And it just looks really nice with all the valves lit. And yeah, there's a ton of valves in this thing. But yeah, this thing just looks amazing. But anyway, that is it for this video. Just wanted to show off the scope, go through what I've done to it. I do plan to hopefully, if I can, fix the channel B on this plugin. And also I'll do some videos on the other 500 series scopes I've got. They all need work, they all need, you know, a lot of maintenance. This one took me quite a while, but it's finally up and running. Yeah, so hopefully you enjoyed this video. Appreciate you guys watching, and hope you have a good day, and take care.